Hello, EDU534. This is Jennifer Riddle, and for this week's assignment, I chose to compare the United States and Germany. I chose to do Germany because I do have a really good friend who grew up in Germany, is from Germany, and I've always been fascinated by her upbringing and her education. And I thought, what a great opportunity to learn more about this country and their education system. So I'm going to compare and contrast two different areas, which are the levels of schooling and standardized testing. So I'm going to start with the United States, and I believe we're all familiar with our levels of schooling in the United States, but just to kind of go over, we do offer preschool, which is voluntary. You are able to put your child in a preschool setting, but it does cost money. It is not required, but a lot of families do choose to put their child in preschool to get a head start on their learning. We also offer transitional kindergarten and kindergarten. Some states do not offer transitional kindergarten. We do here in California. We offer transitional kindergarten. We do in the district I work at anyways. And it is free in a public school setting. It's for students who do not meet the kindergarten cutoff. So they're still 4 years old by the cutoff, but will be turning 5 by the end. Usually it's the end of November or December. So it is voluntary. It is not required. Same as kindergarten. In the United States, kindergarten is voluntary. You do not have to put your child in kindergarten. Our elementary schools start at first grade. It is mandatory to register your child in school by first grade or the age of 6. And depending on the district you live in will depend on when elementary school ends. The elementary school I went to ended at 5th grade. The school I work at now, elementary school, goes up to 6th grade. So again, it just depends on the area or district you live in. And then from elementary school, we move on to middle school or junior high, depending on the terminology you like to use. And again, it depends on the district you live in. So middle school can either start at 6th grade or 7th grade and go up to 8th grade. And then from there, we have our high school level, which is 9th through 12th grade. And once students graduate from high school, they can choose to move on to the colleges or universities, which are state, private, and we also offer community colleges. One thing I did not put in the PowerPoint is about the United States is that we do offer a free and reduced lunch program here in the United States for our students. Especially for those students who live in a high poverty area. For Germany, they only must complete at least 9 years of schooling in order to graduate and move on, whereas in the United States we go up to 12th grade. The school days in Germany are shortened. They only attend school in the morning, and their school day ends around noon. So they're only going to school for roughly between 4 and 5 hours a day. And they do not usually offer any type of after-school activities. We in the United States have an abundance of after-school activities for students to participate in, whether it's sports, tutoring programs. We do offer a lot of school activities for our students. In Germany, it's rare to find any type of after-school activity. Some of the research I did, it showed that they are starting to offer tutoring type activities for after school for students who need that extra support. But other than that, they do not offer any kind of after-school activities for these students. They also do not provide lunch to their students. There are no cafeteria facilities on these campuses, which I've just found fascinating. And their takeaway from it is that the students leave at noon. They leave at lunchtime and feel they can eat lunch at home. But the question is, what about students who don't go home maybe they go to a daycare or childcare, or the students who go home but there's no food in the house. What happens then? So I can't even fathom what that's like for those students who just don't have the luxury of having food in their house. And especially for working parents, if the school day ends at noon, what are parents supposed to do who are working full time and can't take time off to go get their kid from school and find a place or a person to watch them? So I feel very thankful that I work in a country that offers those types of resources to our students. Something similar between Germany and the United States is they do offer preschool and kindergarten starting at the age of 3. It is a monetary cost, so it does cost money in Germany to go to preschool and kindergarten, whereas in the United States, kindergarten is free, unless you do choose to go to a private school. But they are both voluntary. You do not have to put your child in preschool or kindergarten in Germany. It is completely up to the families if they choose to do so. So the primary school in Germany is called the Grundschule. It is mandatory starting at the age of 6, and it does go up to 4th grade. And then after 4th grade, the student's teacher and their parent, they decide which of the 4 secondary schools that student will be placed in depending on their academic abilities. So there are 4 different levels or secondary schools that they can be placed into. So the first secondary level is called the Hauptschule, and that's grades 5 through 9. This is more of a slower paced school. It focuses a lot on vocational training and hands-on learning. It is basically, the objective is to prepare the student for the workforce. And once they obtain their leaving certificate, or what they would call a degree, at the age of 15 or 16, then they can move on and go to vocational training. They can start entry-level work in a public sector, or they can choose to go to full-time vocational school. They can even become an apprentice, up until the age of 18. The second type of school that they can go into is called the Realschule. This is from grades 5 through 10. This gives more of a broad general education, and it's for students to show more independence, and it's a vocationally oriented education. So again, it focuses on vocational training, getting them prepared for, the workforce in a public sector, or it could even further their level of education to where they could qualify to go to gymnasium, which is the highest secondary level that students can go into. The third level is called the Gesamtschule, which is a comprehensive school, and it accepts students from all academic backgrounds. So if a student has a learning disability, they didn't do well in their primary school, this is the school that they could attend, and it combines elements from both the other 2 levels from this school. The highest secondary level that students can get into is called gymnasium. This is for students who are high academic achievers and they want to go to college and attend university. This school focuses a lot on math and science and foreign languages, and they receive an Abitur, which is their degree, and they must have this degree in order to be admitted into their university. In standardized testing, I found this cartoon to be pretty hilarious in regards to just standardized testing in general. So for the United States, we do have high-stakes standardized testing. Here in California, we have what's called the CASP, the CASSP, or you might know it as SBAC, which is a computerized test that starts in grade 3, and it measures the student's mastery of all the standards in their grade level. And then we use that for accountability as well as data comparison, whether the data comparison is local, state, nationwide, or worldwide. We use that information to compare our education to others. We also have district assessments, which holds the schools accountable for how the students are doing, as well as data comparison in regards to comparing the schools at the district, and it also can compare schools statewide as well. And then we also have our SAT and ACT in high schools, which are for college admissions or scholarships, depending if that's the route that students are choosing to go through. Standardized testing in Germany. This cartoon, I think, summed up what teachers felt like about 5 years ago, when the stress level to make sure our students were ready for that state standardized test at the end of the year. Not just the student was stressed, but the teacher, the principal, the district admins, just putting pressure at all levels that we had to make sure these students passed the standardized test. But in Germany, there are no standardized testing. They do have certain proficiency tests that are given in the higher education level, so the universities. But overall, there are no standardized tests given to students, the high-stakes standardized tests to students. Germany does participate in the TIMSS and the PEARLS, but that is the only standardized test that they are a part of, or that I saw in the research. But as I stated previously, by age 11, they are placed in one of the 4 secondary schools that is tailored to their specific academic needs. And then that is the school they stay in until they graduate. And the instruction they get from that school, it optimizes their readiness for whatever vocational trade they're choosing to go into. And then, of course, the students who attend gymnasium, they take those college prep classes to attend the university and beyond. So to kind of conclude, I just have I'm kind of ending it on some questions after doing this research. So the first question is, does Germany have the right idea by using a tiered system to place students according to their ability level? Is that something that is successful for them? So that could be something to research further. Another question is standardized testing necessary? And if so, for what purpose? I know this is a big topic and a big issue, not just here in the United States, but around the world. Why is standardized testing so important, and what is its true purpose? And then finally, should the United States provide more vocational opportunities in the school system? I know when I was going to school, there were a lot of opportunities and different vocational type classes that were offered in middle school and high school. And then towards the end of the year of my high school, in the late 90s, there were hardly any vocational classes provided in the school system. So is that something that we need to look into again for our students? So here are some references of where I found my information. Thank you for listening to my presentation. Have a great day.